All right, let's now cross to Nozintombi Mia, who's standing by with a few of the Democratic Alliance supporters. Nozintombi, a very good morning to you once again.
Thank you so much, Lebu. You know, we've changed positions. It's been so interesting to see how the morning has progressed. From early in the morning when there were very few supporters and it was more of the support staff, to now, well, what time is it? It's going towards 9:30, right? It's going to about 9:30. And you started seeing buses and buses and buses of supporters coming through. And before I show you those supporters as they're streaming through, I do have one supporter that's been waiting so patiently to come and speak to us and tell us about their journey to get here. Mickey van der Westhuizen. Mickey, how's it going?
Good and you, extremely good.
You've been excited to come and speak to us. Why are you excited in particular to be part of this march?
Because I want to be part of the solution of South Africa. I don't want to be part of the problem anymore. This is my first time I'm going to vote, and I'm proud to say I'm going to vote DA. And, you know, I live in Pretoria North. We have a few problems there. Potholes. Everywhere you go is a pothole. And drug-infested nests. If there's an empty building, there's drug people going in. And it's so hard and so difficult to get them away. And I grew up in Pretoria North.
It's not the same place as when you grew up.
No, it's no longer the same place. I don't even want to live there. I don't want my child to grow up in that situation. And that's why I say, I want to be part of the solution.
You said something so interesting. It's your first time voting. Why is it your first time voting?
All right, so in the past, I was never, you know, things were going okay, but there was never a reason for me to vote like it is this year. I believe this year, 2024, would be the 1994, that we get rid of the corruption in South Africa and work to a better future. And I believe with DA we can accomplish that.
So, you know, it also leads to a bigger question. A lot of people like you who are so disenchanted with the current situation in our country,
yes,
politically, and saying they don't want to vote and they don't want to register and whatnot. How would you encourage them? I mean, you found encouragement from within.
Yes.
How would you encourage others to say, whether they vote DA or they don't vote DA, how would you encourage them to come to the party and also say they also want to vote as well?
Well, I believe every vote counts. Every vote counts. As long as it's not for the ANC, every vote counts. And be part of the solution. No longer must we stay in the past and think about but apartheid. I was born in 1994. I was born free. But you know, in today, there's still racism. It's against black and white. Don't follow the norms that the government tells us to be. We are one. Yabulela but Yabulela Kiyani. But I am learning. And I want to be part of the Rainbow Nation. Mandela's Rainbow Nation. Not the ANC now's Rainbow Nation.
Mickey, a very passionate speech there. I really appreciate that, Mickey. If you could just stand over there for us. Thank you so much, Mickey, for speaking to me. I'm going to ask my camera colleague, Sandile Mkunu, who is with me today, has been with me the whole day and will be with me the whole day, to show you the visuals of the DA supporters as they're streaming in. Such an important thing that Mickey van der Westhuizen, one of the DA supporters, is talking about how we are all one nation and how he is voting for change. It's the first time he's voting. He is voting for change, and you can see that some of the people that Mickey came with are people who made sure that they were wearing their regalia. There were people who made sure that they had on their T-shirts, they had on all of the items that needed to be had. And you can see that it is a very thorough march. Protesters here, the marchers here have been supplied with not just hats, but umbrellas, water and little packs to make sure that they are hydrated in this Pretoria heat. And with that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Natasha Phiri, who's standing by at the Union buildings. Natasha. Well, thank you so much, Nozintombi. I can hear it's a hive of activity there at Church Square in central Pretoria. But just to remind our viewers, we're still here at the Union Buildings. And of course, we're waiting for those thousands of DA members to come through. And of course, DA party leader John Steenhuisen will be addressing the various thousands of supporters here. So you would know that the DA also wants to battle it out for provinces like Gauteng, KZN and the Northern Cape. Last week, of course, we were there in KZN covering the EFF Manifesto rally. They've also indicated that they want to win over the province of KZN. You would know that KZN has a voting population of 5.7 million voters. And in 2019, the IFP took over the official opposition, I beg your pardon, from the Democratic Alliance. But the Democratic Alliance is adamant that they actually will win back that hotly contested province. Joining me right now, Mr. Francois Rogers, thank you so much for joining me on SABC News. How confident are you that you will win over the province of KZN, more especially now with the formation of the MK party?
Good morning, Natasha. Yeah, we're very excited. The dynamics in KwaZulu-Natal politics are unique. We've never seen the situation before. The polling puts the ANC at well below 30% in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And we've been working closely with the IFP. We have a service delivery pact that we have formed between us where we co-govern. And the whole idea behind that is to work together, understand each other with the function of taking over government in the province of KwaZulu-Natal post the election.
Mr. Rogers, I like the fact that you mentioned the pact that you have with the IFP, but I mean, with the MK party newly formed, I mean, people had said that it's not only going to hurt the ANC, but the EFF as well as the IFP. What does this mean for the DA?
Well, we're seeing that the ANC are the biggest losers with MK, and the EFF, we can see that their polling figures are dropping. The IFP is not dropping that badly. So really what it means is the campaign, which is going to be a short, sharp campaign. Between ourselves and the IFP, we've got to get out there. We've got to convince voters that if they want to rescue KwaZulu-Natal, that there's one of two options. You can go with, as John refers to, the Doomsday Pact, or you can go with a pact of governance that has a record.
Let's talk about governance issues in the province of KZN. Rate yourself as a DA. Are you happy with the municipalities where you actually govern? And those that you don't, what more can you actually do for the people of KZN?
Look, I think we've proven. We've taken over Umgeni, which we govern outright with an outright majority. And I think Chris Papas and his team have proven that their sole focus is on service delivery. In 2 short years, Chris has managed to wipe out the overdraft, which was left by the ANC government. And if you just go around and engage residents in that particular area, whether you go to Mpupameni, whether you go to Howick, or whether you go to Hilton, people are happy because they can see things happening. And that's important. And of course, as a party, we have a great track record of governance. If you look at Cape Town, you look at the Western Cape, you look at the other cities that we govern. And we believe that's what people want. I think this election is going to be fought and won on service delivery and on local government issues.
Talking about other issues, you were once the Deputy Shadow Minister of Water and Sanitation. There's a water crisis in KZN. I mean, yes, government has committed to fixing the problem. We've seen service delivery protests over water. What is the DA doing to actually mitigate those challenges?
Natasha, you've done your homework to see that I was in the National Assembly. I think the biggest problem is there is no capacity in the city of eThekwini. We've had turnaround strategies, we've had promises made. The National Minister of Water, Senzo Mchunu, promised the residents of the north of Durban that by the 15th, the problem would be resolved and people would have water in their taps. Well, as I stand here today, that they haven't met that deadline. They've come up with other excuses. And clearly, from our belief, is they lack the capacity to do it. Which is why we're exploring the possibility of going to court to remove the water license from the city so that somebody can be appointed that can actually get the job done.
Earlier on this week, I heard the SALGA chairperson, Mr. Tamintuli, just talking about a number of issues pertaining to local government issues, in KZN. Is the issue of political killings not one that you're concerned about as the Democratic Alliance?
Extremely concerned, and it's something that I've been driving. I've appealed to the Premier that we have a dialogue on political violence. Her flippant response was she doesn't have time to sit and drink water. I serve on a multi-party committee which deals with violence. The Premier doesn't appear before that committee. She's never appeared there. And simply what we want is we want her to tell us what happened to the Marani Commission, what happened to the resolutions, and what is she doing about the implementation of those resolutions? Because this is going to be a hotly contested election. And the last thing we want to do is for it to become an explosive environment.
Mr. Rogers, your party leader, Mr. John Steenhuisen, will be, tabling his contract and his commitment to the people of South Africa. You as a KZN leader, for somebody who's watching from Utsugela, various municipalities across KZN who's lost all hope, who says, why should I vote for the DA? The DA doesn't appeal to me. What could you actually say to them?
Simply, it's this. When people go to the ballot and when they want to vote, they need to do their homework. Vote for a political party that has a track record of governance. That's it. Don't vote for a party because your heart tells you to vote for the party. Vote for a party because your mind tells you. And clearly, if one looks at the state of our province, the state of our towns and our cities, if people want to see that visible change, then they've got to start saying, well, the DA does get things done. We have a good track record. Let's give them 5 years. And if they don't deliver, we'll remove them. That's what we want. Give us 5 years.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rogers. Well, Mr. Rogers, they're appealing to voters there to give them 5 years, saying that they've got a good track record as the Democratic Alliance. For now, Simphiwe and Lebu, I'll just toss it back over to you in studio.
All right, Natasha, thank you so much. We'll touch base with you a little later on. Natasha Phiri there is out at the Union Buildings where the DA will be launching its manifesto. And I suppose, judging from the conversations that we've had with all the DA leaders all morning and some of the DA supporters, they're quite confident that the tectonic plates will be shifting in South Africa's political landscape. Well, they're talking about the what and the when, but I suppose the how will be addressed by John Steenhuisen later.
Yeah, and those are some of the questions that we expect Dr. Ronesh to sort of answer in his research. He would have conducted some research into the numbers, what the DA and how the DA will perform in this year's elections and what numbers they bring in to the elections going into 2024. Of course, we're still waiting for the president to give us an official date of the elections for 2024.